Hey guys, Mr. Fair here. Just finishing up this slide, the third question. So let's take a look at um, what the question was, what this scholar wrote, and what we could do to improve and revise this answer. Identify and explain a cause and effect relationship associated with the ideas or events in documents 1 and 2. Be sure to use evidence from both documents 1 and 2 in your response. The cause and effect relationship that are associated with the ideas or events in documents 1 and 2. Be sure to use evidence from both documents 1 and 2 in your response. The cause and effect relationship that are associated to documents 1 and 2 is that document 1 is referring to the Babylonian Empire, and not only did the Nile and Tigris River help in the development of the empire, but also the Code of Hammurabi was in the empire, and that code helped keep the empire structured and kept in order. Okay, so what can we do to improve this? All right, few things. Got to break our thoughts up and try and structure it. This is really like very much a run-on sentence. There's a lot of different thoughts in here, and we can definitely break up all these pieces and add to it and make it into a really solid answer. So this is kind of like a good start, or at least a great foundation to build off of, right? You got all these ideas in your head. You wrote it down, but wait, think about what you're doing. Go back to it, maybe tweak it here and there, and then you've got this like superb answer. Okay, so let's take a look. Show the cause and effect. All right, what was the relationship between 1 and 2? The river valleys and then the legal code. Okay, the connection is what? Does anybody have any idea? Or you lost on this one? Was this one too hard for you? Okay, as cities built up, they needed to create law and order, which this is accurate. He says that in the statement. Okay, evidence from both documents. He's got the Tigris, but the Nile wasn't even mentioned, right? It should be the Tigris and the Euphrates. So, you got to get that sorted out. He mentions Code of Hammurabi. Maybe it'd be good to use one of those, the actual laws, right, that we talked about. And then finally, outside information, the river valleys, etc. So what I want to do is I'm going to take you now to the one that I wrote up so you guys can get a look at these and understand what I was kind of looking for. So this is the question you guys had, right? Tigris and the Euphrates, you have all different cities, Code of Hammurabi. So what I did was we have a couple different highlighted things. Yellow is going to be text evidence or graphic evidence, and then the blue is like outside information, okay? So explain the geographic context for the development of the Babylonian Empire. The Babylonian Empire was established between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers because the two rivers created fertile soil for farming, okay? The early river civilizations all depended on farming. They needed it. This is like, remember we talked about, this is where we saw the development of domestication of plants and animals. Another example of the river providing fertile land is the Nile River. So you just add a little extra piece of information there. And I kept this to 3 sentences, right? 1, 2, 3. Okay, you could have made it 4, but you see it can be put together pretty quickly. That first statement really sums it up, and then you're covering your steps, your bases with that outside information. So let's go down now, all right, and we're going to look at the next one. So we've got the Code of Hammurabi here, and this one's a little bit longer, right? So what was the purpose for writing it? Hammurabi's purpose was to provide rules and establish order in the empire. Cities needed order, and the text above shows how they went about it. In 199, it states that a free man that hurts another man's slave will be fined. 202 also shows the punishment for striking a person in higher rank than you. It is one of the earliest known legal codes. Okay, so I used a little evidence to back it up, showing what it was doing about to create order, and then I mentioned the outside information, which is that it was in the early legal code. All right, then we have the bottom part, which is the cause and effect between the two. So the early river civilization that started between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers became the Babylonian Empire. Farming played a major role in this new period of civilization. This empire has lots of towns and cities. Within these cities, order was needed, so Hammurabi created a written code, the examples here, to provide order and establish punishments. So that's what we were looking for. And I hope you guys see we pulled evidence from both, okay? And then we have the outside information. Farming, I talk about a little bit more in detail. I mentioned the early river valley civilizations. And that's what we're looking for, okay? So let's get back to the exit ticket.